Welcome, everyone, to this explainer. Look, if you've ever stared at a baseball box score and thought, what do all these numbers actually mean? You are in the exact right place. Today, we're taking a seemingly complex sports metric and turning it into a super accessible step-by-step math journey. So let me ask you a question. Did you know that a simple math equation could literally be the key to unlocking baseball greatness? Seriously. Discovering the secrets behind one of the sport's oldest stats, the batting average, is the absolute best way to truly understand a player's true hitting ability. Section 1. The core concept, the batting average formula. Okay, let's dive right into this. First things first, let's get a clear definition on the board. Batting average, or BA, is basically a measure of the percentage of official at-bats where a player actually gets a hit. Think of this single number as a snapshot of how often a batter succeeds every time they step up to the plate. It's really the foundational stat that fans and analysts have relied on for over a century to capture raw hitting ability. So how do we actually find that magic number? Well, the formula is beautifully straightforward. Batting average equals the number of hits divided by the number of at-bats. But here's the catch. Even though it represents a percentage of success, convention dictates that we express it as a 3-digit decimal. So if you divide your hits by your at-bats and get 0.3, you wouldn't say you're batting 30%. Nope, you would say you are batting .300. Section 2, the complication, decoding the official at-bat. But hold on a second, because this is where things get a little tricky. We really need to peel back a layer of the onion here. Because to do this right, we have to contrast the all-inclusive plate appearance with the highly specific official at-bat. A plate appearance is exactly what it sounds like. Every single time a batter completes a turn at the plate, regardless of what happens. But an official at-bat? That's a much narrower count. It specifically isolates the events where the batter's actual hitting skill is the primary factor deciding the outcome. Just take a look at the breakdown here of what counts versus what gets tossed out. Hits, strikeouts, and groundouts? Yep, those are official at-bats. But baseball rewards unselfish play and recognizes things outside of the batter's control. That is why things like walks, getting hit by a pitch, sacrifice bunts, and sacrifice flies are totally excluded from your at-bat total. I mean, if a pitcher walks you, that's not your fault, right? So you shouldn't be penalized for it. And if you sacrifice your own turn just to move a runner forward, the game certainly doesn't punish your batting average for doing your job. Section 3, Math in Action. Let's walk through this step by step. All right, if you want to calculate this yourself, you literally just follow these 3 chronological steps. Step 1, count up the total plate appearances. Step 2, subtract those exclusions we just talked about, the walks, sacrifices, and hit by pitches. Step 3, take that remaining number, which gives you your official at-bats, and divide your hits by that number. Stick to this system, and you'll never accidentally count a walk as an out. Let's put this into practice with a hypothetical player. We'll call her Sarah. Over a stretch of games, Sarah has 25 total plate appearances. She managed to rack up 6 hits. Nice. But she also had 3 walks, was hit by a pitch once, and hit 1 sacrifice fly. So out of those 25 trips to the plate, we can spot 5 clear exclusions. And this perfectly illustrates the math in action. We take her 25 plate appearances, subtract those 5 exclusions, and boom, that gives us exactly 20 official at-bats. Now we just divide her 6 hits by her 20 official at-bats, which equals .300. Sarah is hitting an outstanding .300. Think about it. If we had mistakenly used her total plate appearances as the denominator, her average would have looked like a pretty mediocre .240. That right there proves exactly why tracking those exclusions matters so much. Section 4, the bigger picture, history and modern strategy. So why does all this exact math actually matter? Well, take a look at this single, legendary number, .366. That right there is Ty Cobb's all-time career batting average record. Just to give that abstract decimal some tangible historical weight, understand that Cobb sustained that incredible rate of success over 11,440 at-bats. It remains the absolute gold standard in Major League Baseball. And get this, the rules dictating all this math have actually evolved over time. Check out this wild historical anecdote about Ted Williams. Back in 1941, Williams hit a legendary .406. But during that specific season, the sacrifice fly rule had been abolished. That means hitting a sacrifice fly actually counted as an at-bat, which artificially lowered his average. If the game was scored back then the way it is today, where sac flies are excluded, Williams would have finished that campaign with an absolutely astronomical batting average of .413. Insane, right? Now, what happens on the totally opposite end of the spectrum? We have to contrast the all-time greats with a famous benchmark known as the Mendoza line. Named after 1970s shortstop Mario Mendoza, this refers to a .200 batting average. Falling below this line is basically considered the threshold where a player's bat becomes a massive liability to the team, no matter how amazing their defense might be. Of course, as great as batting average is, modern coaches and managers know it isn't completely perfect. I mean, batting average ignores walks completely, and it treats all hits, whether it's a weak single or a grand slam, exactly the same. That's exactly why modern baseball strategy pairs batting average with metrics like on-base percentage, which calculates how often a batter reaches base entirely, and slugging percentage, which measures raw power. Teams use all these stats combined to make those critical lineup decisions. So how do players actually use these data-driven insights to improve their game? Well, one massive tip is to pair your batting average with BABIP, which stands for batting average on balls in play. This essentially isolates what happens after the ball actually leaves the bat, separating true quality contact from just sheer luck. Coaches also track a player's batting average against specific pitch types, like off-speed pitches, to hunt down weaknesses. Plus, if a player's average takes a dive when they're tired, it becomes a crucial signal to monitor conditioning and maybe schedule a few rest days. Section 5. The takeaway. Let's do a quick recap and cover an important data disclaimer. So, to quickly recap the whole mathematical process, you divide your hits by your official at-bats, ensuring you subtract exclusions like walks and sacrifices from the total plate appearances. Then, simply round your final number to 3 decimal places. Now that you're armed with the formula, I highly encourage you to head over to a site like Baseball Reference, pull up your absolute favorite team's stats, and practice crunching the numbers yourself. But hey, before you quit your day job to become a full-time baseball statistician, a super quick disclaimer. Always ensure you are using accurate official data when you're doing your calculations. And remember, while batting average is a highly significant and historic metric, it really is only one piece of the complete offensive puzzle. A player's full value is only truly found when you look at the wider context of all their stats combined. Which leaves us with one final thought to ponder. Ever since Ted Williams hit .406 all those decades ago, the elusive 400 batting average has practically been the holy grail of baseball math. Knowing just how incredibly difficult it is to rack up those hits without racking up the official at-bats, who do you think will be the next player to conquer the math and finally break the 400 barrier? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep your eye on the numbers.